Good morning, Madam Chair, and thank you to the members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to come and share a couple of thoughts with you today, particularly about the Gloucester Community Arts Charter School application that is pending before the board. But I also want to say it's good to see all of you, and it's particularly good to see Nick Martinelli thriving in an environment other than the Senate, where he did so well, and it's great to be here and to see him here as well. I also want to thank Commissioner Chester for the time that he has taken to speak with a number of us on what is a very controversial and very difficult situation with regard to the charter school application that is before you. I also want to say at the outset that those of us in the legislature understand the difficulty that we will all face in maintaining excellence in our schools given the current fiscal climate. And I think I speak for every one of my colleagues, intend to do what we can to be good partners with you to ensure that our schools not only survive but thrive in these difficult economic times. That being said, I do want to offer some thoughts on the charter school application that is before you today. One that is uniquely before you today because it's the only charter school application that will be presented to you for consideration in this season. And one that is uniquely before you today because it comes in a climate of the greatest fiscal uncertainty than the Commonwealth has faced, at least in the last 3 decades. And as you look at that, and as you look at all the other uncertain variables involved in this application, I would encourage you to take a pause, to give this charter school application and the community that it will affect the opportunity to do something unique and innovative and beneficial for all of the students in the city of Gloucester and the surrounding communities. There are a number of variables within the 4 corners of this application which demand that we take additional time to review it. There are questions about the folks that are partners on this application and what status they continue to have as to whether or not they're involved in the project. There are questions about the public input. I know that it is unfortunate that no members of the board were able to be present at the charter school hearing that we had in the city of Gloucester, which drew, I believe, the largest turnout of any such meeting in the entire history of charter schools in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That, to me, indicates there's a need for some additional time to consider the information presented and consider all of the facts and circumstances in which you find the context of this application. Particularly so, Madam Chair, given the fact that a number of those issues have been documented in a binder that we have presented to each of you, as well as to the governor and lieutenant governor and the legislative leadership in the State House, so that you could understand that there are a lot of issues here that remain to be resolved. Having said all of that, Madam Chair, I believe that no parent in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, whether they be the parent of a proponent of a charter school or whether they be the parent of a child in a public school, in a Commonwealth school, should be ignored. And I believe that everyone has a role to play in this dialogue. And that dialogue in Gloucester is unfortunately only just beginning. I have been overwhelmed by the passion in my city for education that has been evidenced by the folks on both sides of this application. And I believe, Madam Chair, that that dialogue has only begun, and you can help it to continue so that we find not a tool that is the best for a particular group of students, but the tool and tools that are best for every student in the city of Gloucester and beyond. And I believe that the granting of the application today will preclude the kind of dialogue that will enable that to happen. Again, there are many variables, and I'm not going to go into each and every one of them because they're documented in the information that we have given you. But I sense that this board has a unique opportunity, even in the context, Madam Chair, of our consideration of the governor's proposal for readiness schools and new approaches to the situation that we face. So I would hope that you would also take a unique approach given the circumstances that we face and allow the representative, myself, the mayor, and other leaders in the city of Gloucester to be able to work together towards something more innovative than what is presented to you, something that doesn't duplicate what's being done already in the Gloucester Public Schools, but something that helps us to reach for excellence and does it with the partnership of every person in the community that cares about education and this board. So I hope you will consider my views in that regard, Madam Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to offer them, and I thank you for the decisions that you make every day to try to make education better in Massachusetts.
Thank you very much, Senator Tarr. We appreciate your being with us and hearing your views today.
Madam Chair, if I might also thank you, Senator Tarr, and just,